Greetings and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk a bit about you are the source, reclaiming intrinsic value in an age of external validation. Hi, my name is Dr. Gyesie, transformational coach and shamanic leadership guide here at Inner Marriage Coaching, where we help folks understand the trauma-informed basis of limiting self-beliefs and how to take inspired action to create coherent lives right here, right now. So it's important that you realize that we live in an age where silence is suspicious, where presence is rare and value is outsourced. But it's important that you realize that the source of your power isn't in your resume, although it could be, or your looks, although it might be, or your followers, or even your trauma story. Your greatest source of power is in your unshakable coherence, when your mind, your heart, and your body speak in one voice. And particularly in a noisy world, your intrinsic value is your last frontier of liberation. This isn't motivational fluff. This is neuroscience. This is Buddhist psychology and quantum law, as well as ancient spiritual physics. So let's get surgical with this. And I'm going to start with describing the external validation matrix. So a lot of us have been programmed to perform for value, not to know it. Every scroll on Instagram, TikTok, every trend, every like has weaponized your nervous system. And from a neuroscientific perspective, studies show that the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex lights up during social exclusion, which is the same region activated when you experience physical pain. In other words, rejection literally hurts, which means we've been neurologically entrained to avoid disapproval at all costs, even when it costs us our truth. Now, when you look at this academically, Jean Twenge's iGen outlines how this generation, raised with smartphones, for example, has skyrocketing anxiety and depression due to external validation loops. In other words, self-esteem is now reactive, not stable, and people feel valuable only when approved. For example, with AI avatars and deep fakes and algorithm-curated personalities replacing human interaction, we are more disconnected from our true selves than ever. The parallel to this from a spiritual perspective, for example, in the Buddha Dharma, you would call this the Maras realm, or the demons realm, or the jinns realm, which is the illusion of becoming, the illusion of comparison, and the illusion of craving. And in the Buddha Dharma, the Buddha said, craving or desire is the root of all suffering. Craving, tana, in the Pali language, is the root of all suffering. And craving approval is one of the deepest forms of bondage. And in Hermetic philosophy, this is the reversal of polarity, placing the outer world above the inner logos. You become a reflection of illusion rather than a creator of essence. You don't exist because someone sees you. You exist because you are. And until you uninstall this matrix, you will keep bleeding your energy to mirrors that were never built to reflect your soul. So let's talk about how you go from the extrinsic or external to the intrinsic. So I will start with some neuroscientific evidence, because I always like to give evidence. It's important in a lot of opinion. An opinion is fine. I like to give evidence. So your heart sends more signals to your brain than the brain sends to the heart. This is from the HeartMath Institute. When these signals are rhythmic and synchronized, you enter into coherence, which is a state of enhanced clarity, intuition, resilience, and compassion. And in this state, your self-worth isn't dependent on applause, it's a biological vibration. So when the ventral vagus is activated, the body enters safety, presence, and connection. And coherence between the heart and brain stabilizes identity in the face of threat or rejection. This is where spiritual practice meets biological authority. And your sense of value isn't an idea, it's a frequency you live in. So when you look at self-determination theory, and this has been out for about 40 years or 30-something years, humans are the healthiest when motivated by intrinsic needs, such as autonomy, I'm the source, Competence, I can evolve and learn. And relatedness, I belong because I'm real, not because I am approved. The spiritual truth of this is in the Upanishads, where it is said, thou art that. In other words, your value is added to you. Tat tvam asi. It's revealed through stillness and remembrance. Same thing is said in Sufism, that you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. That's Rumi. As above, so below. So when you understand that your harmonized heart is a divine center where beauty, truth, and will converge, you begin to prioritize radiating with truth because it overrides social distortion. So obviously there's a lot of things you can do to practice coherence. And if you want to go deeper into this, type transform or send me a message at nana@innermanage.com, and we could go into sort of how you build coherence with your breath, how you do a values-based audit of your life, how you get involved in mirror rituals and stuff that activate this frequency that connects you to the truth of who you are and raises you to a point of deep internal validation. Because I have to say this, the people you seek validation from also seek validation from other people. And then those people also seek validation from other people, who also seek validation from other people. So where does this end? And how long are you going to keep playing this game of seeking validation outside yourself? Because you've been conditioned and programmed to think that there is a source outside you that is more competent and higher than you. And when you're not in the business of becoming the programmer of your own life, then you are subject by default to be programmable, therefore programmed by external resources. And you know that it's often said that the humans in this world are driven by enlightened self-interest, which means that the programs are not designed for your own benefit. They're designed for the benefit of the enlightened self-interest of the programmer. So when you understand this, then you begin to wake up from this dream that the world you see supersedes the world within. Because the reality is the world you see is a slowed down, dense form of your projection. So the denser the projection, the more solid it appears. The lighter the projection, the more ephemeral and energetic it seems, therefore not very apparent to the naked eye. And this is where all the magic happens, when you're disconnected from dense energy or aware of dense energy, but prioritize light energy, because you realize that as above, so below. And whatever you create within is manifested without. Whether you are conscious or unconscious doesn't change this law. If this sounds like you, type transform in the comment section. Let us know how we can help you. But it's important to realize that when you begin to see yourself as the mirror of the universe, when you begin to look at yourself and say, I see you, I know you, I trust you, and you pause, the mirror starts to talk back to you. And this is how you realize that the universe is simply a self-replicating, perpetuating matrix created by you, the source of all things, the seer, the great I am. So it's important that you realize that we are in the quantum age. AI will soon write better scripts than humans. Deepfakes will outperform actors. Virtual avatars will be more relatable than real people. And in this future, authenticity becomes currency. And the only way to transmit that is through frequency, not performance. So who you are in silence will speak louder than anything you say with your mouth. For example, in ancient Egypt, it's often said, and this is attributed to Thoth or Hermeticism Megistus or Tehuti, as is appropriately called in Kemetic philosophy, as within, so without, as above, so within. So as inner coherence influences the morphogenetic world, you don't just exist in the world, you imprint it. You are the source, not because you said the right thing, not because someone else believed in you, but because you've decided to remember. If this resonates with you, don't forget to type transform, like, share, subscribe, and keep ascending, and know there's absolutely no one like you.